not forgetting the intro this time, because I think I did on the one before the last, the Rutger Hauer one.
We end up fixing them, eventually.
Yeah, at some point, if there's ever money.
So, welcome to the Underhold. This is Sinclair Spoils.
Yep, aka Legal Priest.
Rob C. Gresham.
And because we did a video or two like this before, we're just going to turn this into the format. I get to watch a lot more of the films right when they come out than Robert does, just because I work at a theater and we got busy lives. And so we figure for these newer films, things like that, I watch them.
And then you can spoil them for me, because I'm not going to let spoilers ruin my life.
Yeah. Even though the expectation game, I've been thinking about that more. I don't know what to think completely of spoilers. So far, I'm perfectly fine with them. Hasn't ruined anything. But I don't know.
Spoilers is a good search term.
Yeah. Yeah, SEO.
Yeah, we got to get those numbers up. We got to pump them up.
So I watched the R's.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio.
And this is the new Quentin Tarantino movie.
His 9th film. He says he's going to do 10 and then kill himself or something. But
this 10th movie's the Star Trek one, right?
Maybe.
I hope he kills himself.
This might be the last one. So you didn't like his previous 2 films, right?
Wasn't a giant fan. Mm-hmm. I used to really like Tarantino. I don't know if I identify with some of his earlier films, like True Romance, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. Those kind of early films. But I felt like the style changed too much. Maybe it's he got comfortable in his own style, I guess, too. Mm-hmm. But it just became a bunch of feet fetish films for me, and I got tired of seeing it.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood doesn't deviate from that. There is some feet all over that film.
Yeah, I didn't like Inglourious Bastards. I know everyone loves that movie, but I just don't really jive with alternative history movies too much when the target is such a specific character, and Hitler is such a well-known villain.
And this is
in real life that to have a movie where you kill him is okay, whatever.
Alternative history.
Yeah, so is this another one of them?
Well, what do you think the end of the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is?
To me, it sounds like he's biting off of some of cooler movies that use that similar title. Mm-hmm. Like Once Upon a Time in America.
Once Upon a Time in China.
James Woods. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in the fucking... Wasn't there one with Clint Eastwood out there? Shit, I don't know.
Probably, or at least some alternate
kind
title.
Of version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And this just says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm like, okay, so is it about fake Hollywood? That's fine. Mm-hmm. Is it about real people that existed in Hollywood doing fake shit? Depends on which ones.
Now, what about the ending part? Because it's the Manson story, right?
That's the first I've heard of it.
You did not know this is Charles Manson, and
I just was wondering if it was Leonardo DiCaprio going around saying the N-word for 34 minutes.
So this part of this is, it's the Manson family, the story of Sharon Tate being murdered.
Yeah, I actually heard that there's no black people in it at all, so Quentin Tarantino wouldn't be accidentally say the N-word too much while the movie was being made.
Since it's old Hollywood, it made it much easier to do that.
There was no black people in Hollywood in the 60s?
Well,
fuck.
If you really don't want to show what black people had to do in old film practically in a time like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean,
but you would expect it to end with the Manson Tate murder.
It's a Tarantino movie. Did they just busted shoot Manson before Sharon Tate gets gutted, and so it's now she goes happily ever after. Roman Polanski never rapes that girl.
Almost.
For fucking real.
So just think about it. The climax of the movie is the Tate murder. Okay. Essentially. So that's what it's building up to.
Did at least get Hilary Duff to play Sharon Tate?
No, it's
Hilary Duff. She was in the
Margot
Ghost
Robbie.
Of Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Margot Robbie spends a lot of the film just kind of wandering around, trying to be charming because you know what her fate is. So they're just trying to oh look,
I can't wait till this baby gets cut out.
Watch her own film with an audience, which you always hear celebrities do sometimes, and they have a fun time doing it.
Okay.
But there's not too much going on with her. You see her going to a Hollywood party with Mama Cass and Steve McQueen, which Steve McQueen is played by, and I didn't know this. I had to look up who the hell he was playing because I was like, this guy's supposed to be important. I think it's the guy from Billions.
There's 7 guys in that.
The main guy, he was also
Damian Thewillis?
I think he usually...
No, that's not the right name, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
normally.
okay, yeah.
He plays Steve McQueen.
Oh, okay.
Which I can kind of sort of see in the face, but if you don't tell me it's Steve McQueen, there's no way I'm guessing he's Steve McQueen. He doesn't look that close to me.
Like, does he have the black jacket or something?
He has like blonde
Typical
curly hair, and I was thinking at 69 he had straight hair. Because that's Bullet. Bullet's like 69, I think. Have you seen Bullet?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day.
You've seen Bullet, right?
Yeah, back in the day. Alright.
The only
the Getaway, too.
Police procedural I like.
I've seen the original Getaway.
Yeah.
So, did they just kick the door down and they shoot Manson?
We're going to get back to that because...
Oh, Christ.
What the movie is about is Leonardo DiCaprio is this actor, Rick Dalton, who is an old movie actor who missed out on really having a strong breakthrough in movies. Like, he did good, but didn't quite reach that top status, and then ended up on a show called Bounty Law, which was a hit. And now Bounty Law is over, which I think he messed up the last season by trying to go for another big movie role or something. But now he's playing the bad guy in a lot of TV shows. His career's on the wind down, and he gets asked to do a spaghetti western. He's like, I am done. And he's flanked by Cliff Booth, his stunt double.
Okay.
And Cliff Booth is also his driver because...
Cocaine procurer, I'm guessing?
Well, just Rick Dalton is dealing with alcoholism. You get a little bit of things with that. You see that Rick Dalton's like kind of this not quite sad character, but he's dealing with a lot in his life. He's dealing with alcoholism. They don't completely...
This is the Brad Pitt? The Rick Dalton?
No, Rick Dalton is...
Leo.
Is Leo.
Okay.
Which also they show in his film reel, that hullabaloo scene. Have you seen that in the previews where it looks like laughing?
I haven't seen any previews.
Okay.
To be honest,
there's this part where he does like a laughing song moment, like a Dean Martin thing, but he's talking about the green door. Why are they laughing behind the green door? And I'm like, is this a green room thing? Is this almost like a casting joke? Or casting couch joke? I don't know. I was very
something in there. Okay, but we'll have to look for the underhold on that one.
Cliff Booth is his stunt man, who is also driving everywhere because Rick Dalton has the
alcoholism, probably DUIs.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Cliff Booth also can barely get a job because he has something in his past where he killed his wife. He says on accident, and they show the whole scene. He's arguing with he's talking with his wife while they're on a boat trip. You know, they're on a boat together, and he brings out a harpoon gun, and he asks her something, and then it starts to start to become an argument. He has the harpoon on his lap. She starts getting all up on his face, and he has a very deadpan look, and you know the next moment that they cut away from is that harpoon hitting her.
So you Robert Wagner'd her.
Is it real? Was that what Robert...
Yeah, Robert Wagner killed Natalie, or allegedly killed Natalie Wood with Christopher Walken.
I don't remember that story. I'll have to
look that up.
So
that keeps coming back around every 20 odd years.
Maybe that's a play on it, because you don't know if he did it or not, but it's definitely left a scar on him because it's prevented him from getting some jobs.
Wagner, you know what you did, dude.
And a lot of this movie is them going around Hollywood, showing kind of the 60s style of what's going on. Hippies, are starting to do a lot of the...
Okay. The war is on because it's the 60s?
The war is on. A lot of hippies are doing what you call hitchhiking. A lot of hitchhiking.
Okay, everyone's going to San Francisco.
Yeah. Like, Cliff Booth is actually taking care of the house and hitchhikes one of the Manson family girls home.
Oh, nice.
And that's where you come across Spahn Ranch. And they show... You know what Spahn Ranch is? So Spahn Movie Ranch is what it's called.
Spahn?
S-P-A-H-N. So there's a...
Spahn.
Yeah.
Spahn.
It's a ranch where they filmed Bounty Law, according to this Bounty Law. Because Rick Dalton's not real. Cliff Booth's not real.
Right. Is this like where Manson's compound is or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's this old movie ranch where they make money giving people rides, and they would film movies there. And the Manson family moved in and basically gave George Spahn, the owner, a good ending to his life. So he's basically having sex with this girl Squeaky all the time and just letting all the hippies live on his ranch.
Nice.
Yeah.
She called Squeaky for like voice reasons?
I don't remember. I don't think so. Maybe slightly. I kind of remember I read Helter Skelter, but that was That was just her nickname.
Yeah, I didn't read.
A lot of the names are
stuff.
changed in the film too. I don't know why he changed.
It's probably because there's a couple of them alive still.
I think it seems to be
three of them are
because
still
some of
alive
them
in
aren't
jail.
just super normal names, so he just gave them very, very generic names, like this is Jenny and this is Sarah, instead of being like this is Beatrice or something. I don't know.
Okay.
They're just slightly less normal names, so he gave them completely normal names. It was very arbitrary.
Always barefoot, I'm guessing.
Yeah. One of the girls I think too is Kevin Smith's daughter.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like, take your shoes off, Harley Quinn. You know? Take them off.
Kevin Smith owes me.
He's abusing him worse than, what's that dude, Brian?
Oh shit, Weinstein did both Smith and Tarantino. Maybe Smith has some stuff on Tarantino. It was like, you get my daughter in this
They
movie.
did something. I know they're in 3 Bridget Jones Diaries movies for no reason.
So, that's what a lot of movies is. It's very fun. You get to see Rick Dalton get through a couple of trying times. Like, he helps film this pilot for Timothy Olyphant's new show, which I think is a real show. I think it became a real thing.
Deadwood?
Well, no, not Timothy Olyphant, but the show that they're doing, the old 60s show,
like,
was, I think it was an actual real old Western. And you get to see him come across like this young girl who's a method actor, and Rick Dalton's like definitely like feeling like his shittiest and stuff, and he has some bad scenes, and then eventually he has this really great scene which leads to the part in the trailer where she's like, that's the best fucking acting I've seen in my life. So you're seeing these little triumphs. You're seeing these little triumphs of him finally
like a comeback story.
Not quite. It's a little triumph because
is there a narrative to the movie, or is it just like a collection of scenes? Because like so far it sounds like it's a collection of like, oh, this little scene was fun and this little scene was fun, but
it's a little bit. It's a little bit of Rick Dalton having a hard time trying to keep his career on track.
Okay, so
that's the narrative.
Like snapshots of his life throughout this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he's working on a film and he's being a stuntman, so he has to work really hard to get Cliff onto it because stuntman, who I think might be Stuntman Bob, which is Stuntman Mike's older brother. I got to look that up.
Stuntman Bob.
Yeah.
Stuntmen are always getting croaked.
But that's the Stuntman Mike, the actor who played Stuntman Mike in Death Proof.
Oh,
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, the Kurt Russell one. Yeah,
Kurt Russell.
That one I didn't mind.
He plays a stuntman in it, and I
think it's because of all the ladies that got ran.
I gotta look to see if his name's Stuntman Bob in it, because that's Stuntman Mike's older brother that he mentions in Death Proof. And then Stuntman Bob's wife is the Aussie stunt woman. And she's like, I refuse to have Cliff on my...
Zoe Bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I refuse to have Cliff on my set. And that leads to...
because you want to get harpoon gutted.
Well, yeah.
We know what you do!
But that leads to a fight scene between Bruce Lee and Cliff Booth, which is pretty great.
Oh, okay.
Like,
does Bruce Lee win?
No.
Of course. Why would Quentin Tarantino let a non-white person do anything in his movies that wasn't Samuel Jackson?
How badass Cliff Booth is.
Samuel Jackson in the movie?
No.
Yeah. Because that way, oh yeah, it's because I hear there's 0 black people.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
Well, that's probably because literally if there was one black actor, he wouldn't have been able to stop calling him the N-word. I know that's a redundant joke, but like that's part of what made me so sick.
Really funny, actually. Like, there's lots of really good joke scenes of just like Cliff Booth getting these great lines of like, we all like pussy around here, where they're talking about a woman named Pussy, and he's just like, yep, or something like that. Or in the trailer, they have a part where like, what do you call a stuntman? It's like, well, sometimes, when you're on the set and you're gonna fall off a horse, I might put an undue burden on the production. Cliff here's to carry my load. And they're like, is that what you would say you do, Cliff? Carry his load? He's like, yep. So there's really funny lines from Cliff Booth. He's a pretty funny guy, but at the same time, you're like, fuck, did he kill his wife?
Is the charisma good between the two?
Yes, very good.
And then you play up that mystery.
That's what the movie's about, is like this two best friends, kind of. These two fictional best friends of kind of what Hollywood was like.
All right, let's get to the ending, because I'm like, all right, so far it's a collection of movie of cool Cliff scenes and Chuck scenes or whatever.
Cliff finally, he's going to get married to this woman that he ended up doing some Italian films. He goes to
spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, spaghetti westerns. So he's like, well, this sucks. I'm on the downswing, but at least I own my house. There's a future here, but I can't still live in Hollywood anymore. It's not going to work out. And he's like, we're going to have this big last night, me and Cliff. And so they have their big night. They get blasted drunk. They end up going back home. And there's some moments here that get set up early, because there's a lot of setup in the movie.
Okay.
So there's set up like showing where Cliff Booth is at Booth is at home. He's feeding his dog. You see his dog is very well trained. And there's stuff like there's dog food that he goes to pour out, and it's like that, boom. But you know there's a lot of weight to it.
Right.
So you're getting lots of good setup of knowing that there's a lot of weight to this dog food, and this dog is very well trained and everything. So they're all three in the house, and the Manson family pulls up their driveway. Rick Dalton lives right next door to Tate.
Okay.
And you only see Manson for a couple seconds in the film. The trailer is almost all you see of Manson in the whole film. And I think that's a purposeful dig.
Right,
because
he wasn't involved so much, right?
He just but Manson's also a narcissist. He's also a big narcissist, and he would probably
he's dead. Who cares if he's in a movie? It's not he's going to be like, I was in the movie 25 times.
But still, there's that kind of thing of like he's a narcissist. You don't want to give him too much of that. So you only see him go up and visit the Tates because his old friend lived there. And he leaves, and that's it. That's like all you see.
Tex or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Tex is the person who comes up later for the killing.
So I knew there was a Tex.
Yeah, Tex and three girls, but one of the girls stays behind. They had her leave the scene in the car, like screw this, I'm out. But she was a lookout.
She's the living one, probably. They're all like trying to make it sound like she didn't do shit.
Yeah.
She was all like, taking pictures of shit, licking the knives and swastikas on her forehead back in the day. Fuck.
Also, when they show, they set up the movie with showing Dalton's earlier films. Okay. And one of them's like him, the 14 Fists of Fury, where he destroys a bunch of Nazis. And there's a great moment with a flamethrower where he burns them all alive and stuff. And you see,
it's all like throwback to Inglourious Bastards death.
A little bit, but you see like this part where there was a not a fencing, but like a railing, and there was actually like a weird Nazi design kind of in it, which is kind of cool. The swastika designs in it, like part of the railing.
Sinclair love them swastikas.
But it sets up for the end of the movie. Okay. I think that's what's really good about it.
The weight,
and it shows one or two other films.
Dog food can. You got me intrigued about.
It shows that he took 2 weeks to learn how to use this flamethrower and everything, and he's a little scared of it. There's some of the stuff he goes through is like he has a stammer. Rick Dalton has a stammer, things like that, and you see him. He's overcoming these things. So when the end of the movie comes, they go up to the Tate house, but they make a lot of noise, and they end up kind of disturbing Dalton, and he ends up like going out there yelling, "Get out of the driveway, dirty hippies!" Blah blah blah. And they end up going back, but then they're going to go up the driveway, and they're talking. They're like, "That was fucking Dalton. How about we go kill the people who taught us how to murder? We're going to be murdering the murderers. We're going to, kill the pigs." So they decide they're going to go kill whoever's in the Dalton house first before they go kill the Tates.
Okay, which can't go well.
No.
Jamie Foxx is all of them while Django unchains them.
Oh, when they go in,
another shit movie.
It becomes like Mexican standoff somewhat. Well, no, more just the Dalton and his crew, because Booth, Dalton, his dog, Booth's dog, and Dalton's wife.
Okay, who's that played by?
Just some woman. She doesn't even speak English. She just speaks Italian in the film.
Super white.
No, you can tell she's darker.
Okay.
But Booth and Dalton, particularly Booth, starts fucking them up. This becomes a cathartic / like big screw you to the Manson family and ruining the 60s, ruining old Hollywood. It becomes comical, over the top, ridiculous. Yeah. It is so funny because
like Kill Bill was kind of ridiculous in its violence.
Yeah, so like Cliff Booth, he takes one of those big dog food cans that has some weight to it, slams it into this woman's face, hardcore, has his dog leashed on her, like you would have trauma on this.
Yeah, she's already dogs.
This dog's like tearing into her face. They're fucking up the other guys with like knives and stuff. They throw this woman through a plate glass window, so she has a messed up face with
bare feet just a dangling
with what do you call it, shards of glass on it. And actually Dalton's actually outside during the beginning of it because he's practicing his lines or something. He's like listening to music on his he has like a tape recorder thing that he uses to practice his lines, but he's just listening to music on it, so he's out in the pool, and
so we only hear the music while all the violence is happening in the background kind of scene.
Yeah. So she gets defenestrated
nice.
through the window, and all this stuff is done with glee. It is not like it's horrifying, but you can tell there is fun Tarantino is having.
Did they go back and get Manson after that? Like,
No.
let's go back to Manson. Oh, Manson just back. Where are my 3 earlier? Let's don't go to the Daltons next time. Let's just go to Tate's tomorrow night.
No, they just screw them all up. And when she's in the tub or in the what do you call it, the water, Dalton gets up, freaked out, and he goes and he sees all the shit going on inside. He runs out to his shed, and he comes out with the flamethrower from 14 Fists of Fury.
He melts these cats up.
Yeah, it is so ridiculous. It is so fun. Because you know the Manson family, there was the racist thing in there too of like.
Well, yeah, they wanted to start the race war,
start
right?
the race war, and everybody would go to Manson.
You know, the 60s was a weird time, man.
But I think that 14 Fists of Fury with the Nazi flamethrowing thing, I think that was on purpose of like kind of, you know, these are racist people. He's literally living out his character. Rick Dalton is literally now, you know, flamethrowing them. And you know, the night ends.
Do they play up that the guys are racist or that they just want to start the war? So it's just that
they don't even talk. They don't even mention that from what I remember.
Yeah, so I can't connect that as like he's playing out the racist part.
I didn't connect it initially either, but I actually.
But you're saying Booth is this badass during the takedowns, right?
Oh yeah,
which just reinforces that he jacked his wife from
possibly.
Coming for you, Robert Wagner. You know that Hollywood's closing in. You'd think that if you're going to tell like the seer history of Hollywood, you could throw in some Max Castle stuff, like or old Frankenstein movies. Or...
But it's really fun. I think it's the feel good movie of the year. I do.
Well, if you hate the Manson family,
yeah, that's part of what
like
it is.
Watching ladies get disfigured.
Like if you hate the Manson family, because you also think like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is kind of about that too, of just the end of the '60s and stuff, and that's all from the Manson family. There's a lot of reasons to hate them.
I mean, another argument would be Vietnam destroyed the '60s because once people started coming back dead, that started changing the game.
No, but that's reinforcing the hippie narrative.
Well, yeah, peace, love, and all that until you're getting killed and PTSD, people coming back all heroed out.
But that's proving their point. The Manson families, these were hippies. Yeah. These were people doing the hitchhiking.
They were the early.
They were the free love people, and no, they were really, really terrible.
I'm not saying they're like Antifa. Please don't come find me below. Anybody from either side of.
It's a really long movie, so you got to be okay with that because it's a bunch of like little funny scenes. I guess you have to find them funny. There's a couple parts I was the only person laughing in the theater. Finding that
well, I like that. Usually when there's that dark moment nobody else gets. Yeah. Those are fun.
There's some Cliff Booth lines that are really funny in there that just didn't get. Actually, I thought there was a part where what's his name? Dalton's improving and he throws the little girl on the floor freaking hard. I fucking died. And her was like,
but it's just more of Quentin Tarantino's violence against women. Wow. So the end of the movie's payoff is that they killed.
The movie's all about the payoff.
Sharon Tate survives.
Yeah, and at the end of the
Roman
movie,
Polanski never rapes that girl.
Yeah. At the end of the movie, Dalton's talking with
sounds like some Directors Guild.
Tate's boyfriend, who's not
Roman Polanski,
because it was kind of obvious.
Well, he was Roman Polanski at the time.
No, there was Roman Polanski, but there's also Tate's boyfriend before Polanski was still hanging around all the time.
But they were like, that's who they're together when they got. Is Polanski in the movie?
Yeah.
Who's he played by? Like, if they get that one red-haired dude to play Steve McQueen, is it like Pauly Shore?
No, I don't even know who they had to play Polanski.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, they're
Harvey Keitel.
Polanski was okay because they also had to make sure that both the actors looked the same because Tate had a type. And they both look kind of similar. Rich
and famous directors.
No, it was short boyish men.
People get a career fix.
A little bit, but she invites Dalton up for some drinks afterwards, or they invite them up to talk because like, holy shit, what happened? Because they're like, we heard all this noise.
And he explains that, we just killed a man's family.
So you end the movie with like, this could be Dalton. His way of having a comeback in a way, like it's like a really good ending of this fake character.
He saves the day.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous movie.
Well, to feel like this is where Quentin Tarantino is going with his movies and what stories he wanted to tell, when he started with things like Reservoir Dogs and True Romance and Pulp Fiction, these films that were really playing with the crime world in a realistic way. That still had some dark humor to them. Like this, I just feel like the last 3 movies have been so off the rail. Maybe even 4 movies have been so fantasy off the rails that they're, to me, ludicrous to watch. And maybe I'm not a fan of that style anymore.
I kind of see
to be that long, I'm like, and no payoff.
There was some stuff I think in Inglourious Bastards I was expecting a little bit more out of the film. It had that one scene I think towards the beginning that was like one of his best scenes ever. But then aside from that,
the only scene I can remember from the whole film, 2 of them, is them carving, just getting my Nazi skull or scalps, right, and carving up Christoph Waltz at the end. And the scene where I want to say it's the German actress.
There's an early scene,
and they're in like a tavern.
That was really
that's
the tavern scene is one of his best.
And that was a really tense scene. It was really good, but then with the kind of jokey world around it became
Adam Sandler and Eli Roth role, yay or nay?
Was that Adam Sandler could be Eli Roth?
Well, he was gonna. That's who it was originally gonna be.
Really? Was it gonna be Adam Sandler?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Adam Sandler turned it down because he didn't have the time.
He didn't want to be the Jew bear?
No, he just didn't have the time. He was doing other stuff.
So he ended up doing his own version. Well, the Ridiculous 8, right?
Ridiculous 6.
Okay, so write-off, turn-off for me is alternative history movies with such a big character.
Much so, yeah.
Sharon Tate is going to be alive, so we rescued the 60s just like we rescued World War.
I'd say that's where some of the movie falls apart. Sharon Tate is
saves the world.
Sharon Tate's not like all that like, oh, I'm so glad she's alive. You know, they just make her not hateable. Some of her scenes are a bit of a waste.
A lot of feet shots from what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that turned me off from his other films where I'm like, these are just excuses for him to play it out as finishes.
Like really exploitative.
So it's really bad with the feet.
Not his worst, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, so that's 2 turnoffs for me to film. But it flips that with Brad Pitt and Leo. I'm like, I love
Brad Pitt and Leo are great.
If they're fun to watch, really that could erase a lot of stuff. I still feel like this deserves a watch.
Yeah.
But I'm no more interested in watching this than I was before.
Like Cliff Booth as Brad Pitt is the coolest guy in the universe.
Did they ever tell whether or not he's
Rick Dalton is... No, that's... You don't know.
He's the fucking MacGuffin.
Well, he did, but was it... Did he mean to? Was it on purpose?
Yeah. Did they was his wife all Angelina Jolie like? It was like, that bitch! Yeah, I remember when she was young and I was like, I want to hit that. Then you get over 25 and you're like, that's not the girl you ever want to date. Just got her brother's blood in the necklace. Bringing home kids from who knows where. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just meant these are my kids.
All right.
Brad Pitt, he's done.
What should we end the video on? So don't let spoilers ruin your life.
Is this a watch it or a Redbox it?
It's a watch if you like longer movies, if you like seeing interesting scenes play out, if you want a tight narrative, this is a no. If you want it to be factually accurate, it's a no.
But cinema-wise, this is an experience.
It's a fun movie. That's what it is. That's why that's why I say feel good, because it is a fun movie. I enjoyed myself very immensely.
So what to say? Watch it.
Watch it. Meandering, but it's a good meandering.
All right, well, you heard it here. Go check out the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Do they blow up the Hollywoodland sign?
No.
Thank God, because that fucking was redundant.
Yeah.
And tell us below why I'm wrong and all the Quentin Tarantino movies are great. And
tell me why I'm wrong and all the Tarantino movies are terrible.
Balls.
Yeah.
All right, don't let spoilers ruin your life, and catch you on the Underhold.
Bye.